Hello and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Kaylee Gonzalez. I am an applications expert out of our Phoenix, Arizona office, and I'm glad you could join me today. Our topic is covering securing your data in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. We are focusing on securing SOLIDWORKS and CAD data, again, and discussing some of your cloud services tools. Our goal at MLC is to connect you with the best tools for the job and to ensure that you are successful in their use. We do this by providing in-person and online trainings conducted by experienced instructors to help ensure that you have the knowledge and skills to fully leverage your software's capabilities. Self-paced learning resources, best practice documentation are both created by our team of experts and provided through our partnership with Solid Professor, where you can access high-quality, on-demand training resources on a variety of engineering software. All of this is covered and supported by our dedicated technical support team, who is available to assist you with any software-related questions or issues that arise, providing prompt and effective resolutions to keep operations running smoothly and efficiently. We also recognize that every business has challenges that are unique and may require custom training, custom programming, auditing, or additional services. Data security, which is our main topic for today, often falls into this category with software and server components that are sized and configured to match your company's processes. So, as we discuss the offerings today, please consider giving us the opportunity to meet with your team, learn about your unique challenges, and develop a personalized plan that ensures your success going forward. Today, I'm going to cover the security and management of your CAD and engineering data. We have four main sections that we're going to be covering. The first one is why we need to take different steps for CAD data than we do for almost all other types of intellectual property. What those tools are that we have at our disposal. We're going to discuss the challenges that come along with implementing and adopting these tools and what solutions we at MLC CAD Systems can provide to help you meet those challenges. So let's start with the term management and why it is so important for CAD files and what makes this different from simply where you store and access your data from. We're going to discuss storage versus management in addition to performance and governance. SOLIDWORKS assemblies and drawings contain file references to components that make up those particular file types. For instance, when you open a drawing file, SOLIDWORKS must go searching for the parts that are linked and referenced to that drawing, so the drawing views are up to date and reflect any changes that have been made to the parts since the drawing was last opened. This is one item that makes SOLIDWORKS so extremely powerful, but these references often go unnoticed by the user and can be quite complex if you use advanced modeling techniques such as creating in-context references or linking to external files. These largely invisible file references must be updated when a part is renamed or moved. Maybe you've run into some of these warning messages before. When SOLIDWORKS searches for a part to populate a drawing or an assembly, it does this by file name first, and then it goes through a specific order that you see here on my screen. Now, this order is what is fastest for a computer to try to find that file, but it may not be the most intuitive way to find files from our human perspective. You might think that SOLIDWORKS goes straight to the location written in the drawing's file reference list. That's actually not the case. For instance, SOLIDWORKS first checks if a file by that specific name is already open and loaded into RAM. If it is, SOLIDWORKS is going to try to reference that particular file first. Next, SOLIDWORKS checks if any locations have been prioritized in the References Documents list found in the SOLIDWORKS system options. Then the software checks the path of the document that is currently opened, the location you last opened a file from, the last place the file successfully found an additional reference file in, and so forth down the list. Ultimately, if the file cannot be found, such as in cases where the file has been manually renamed or copied and pasted and relocated, you may be prompted to browse for the file manually, or SOLIDWORKS will simply suppress the missing file from your drawing or assembly. Perhaps a more precarious situation exists and there are two files with the same name in existence. You can see from the search order, it's very possible for SOLIDWORKS to find the wrong part, even if it is not even in the same folder or on the same drive as the drawing or assembly. This may look the same and be named the same, but if you're actually seeing a warning that a reference document has a non-matching internal ID, then SOLIDWORKS is telling you that even though the file name is the same, the part may actually be different. Fundamentally, any system that manages data instead of simply being a storage device does two main things. It manages those file references we just discussed, and it controls who has access to those files. These two functions eliminate issues with missing parts on drawings and assemblies, as well as duplicate file names. They ensure we are working with the most up-to-date version of the file and prevent accidentally overwriting other people's work. They also allow multiple users to work on projects at the same time, provide visibility to who is working on which specific files, and even control what data users can view or modify. At its core, a data management system requires a relational database in order to do its job. Now, there are some tricks that SOLIDWORKS users can take advantage of. One of those is the built-in multi-user environment system setting. This allows the user to toggle a read-only flag on files by right-clicking on them. Even without this particular setting, SOLIDWORKS has its file utilities. This allows you to right-click on a SOLIDWORKS file in Windows and choose specific SOLIDWORKS options such as Pack and Go, Rename, and Move to help you manage these references. The downside of these tools is you need to be very proactive in using them, and you need to use them all the time. Just remember, if you do get into a file reference mess, it's a good time to call MLC's technical team. Believe me when I tell you, we have seen it all. Are you a Star Trek fan? If so, or even if you're not, you'll probably still be familiar with the transporter from the series. Now that may seem like a really random question, but I bring it up because this concept of the transporter, it's not unlike how data is transferred from one spot to another in our current network infrastructures. Data is broken into smaller data packets, given some reassembly instructions, and then sent through its network to the other end. Can you imagine what would happen if those data packets are lost? Talk about data from Star Trek. What happens if his legs made it across the transporter, but his torso never showed up? Well, hopefully they had some type of copy or backup or a way to fix that, right? A data management system keeps a copy of your files on the server. It does make a note when it's checked out by a specific person, similar to checking out a library book, and sends a copy of that system to the local client machine. In this way, you always get local performance. No matter what your network or internet speeds or bandwidths are, they may change throughout the day, and sometimes they change quite drastically. By caching locally, we reduce overall network traffic for the company and protect ourselves from potential data corruption by maintaining a copy of the data both on the server and on the client. The data management system compares what we have locally versus what is on the server and only needs to transfer the changes. So we're actually moving less information through an internet connection or through a network connection. You'll also find that searching for files in a database can go much deeper into the file information, into metadata. We can do compound searching, and we can do all this with tremendously greater performance than searching through a traditional Windows folder structure. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about if you've ever had to do large searches in very large Windows folder structures. Once a data management system is in place that takes care of the essential business of managing the data and references, then we can incorporate company processes and policies that govern that data. For example, take this maturity graph that is on my screen. When I create and check a new part into the system, it enters the private state first. This is where a user can work on a part before providing the team with any type of access. Once moved to the in-work state, all engineers have permission to check out and modify the file until it is submitted for approval. The manager can review the file, either kick it back or approve the file going forward. On approval, the revision is incremented and added to the part and its drawing. The part now sits in the released state that engineers can see, but they no longer have permissions to modify until changes are requested and work goes back to in process and a new revision begins. As an additional bonus, this type of process does give us design history. We can now quickly retrieve a copy of the file as it was after every revision through its life cycle. We can see who made the changes and what those changes are. And this is just really the tip of the iceberg as we manage our data with governing approval workflows and maturity graphs. So we covered the why we want to have a data management solution. The next thing we're going to cover is the what. This is going to be what tools we have at our disposal. And today we are focusing on the SOLIDWORKS Cloud Services, which is powered through the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. Now, before I go into kind of a brief overview of this, if you want more in-depth information as to what cloud services are, please reach out to us at MLC CAD Systems. We can have some questions at the end. We also have tons of content on our YouTube channel and our website that give you more information on cloud services tools, but I will provide you with just a basic overview. One item that you might be thinking to yourself is this item of a cloud platform. We know that when we use the word cloud, that we're talking about files that are either saved via a website or saved in a remote server location. One question you may be asking yourself is, why wouldn't I want to save SOLIDWORKS files to a cloud storage system that maybe my company already has access to? Some of these are including OneDrive, SharePoint, Dropbox, or even Google Drive. Why would we want to go with 3DEXPERIENCE when maybe I already have other cloud storage solutions available? Well, the answer to this really goes back to the concept of managing data and why we need a data management system. We'll talk a little bit about the cloud services and then revisit this question. The cloud services tool is something you may already have and just may not be utilizing. That's because it comes included with every new seat of SOLIDWORKS since July 1st, 2023. The cloud services for SOLIDWORKS are primarily data management tools delivered through the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. It is licensed a little bit differently. It's a named user license, which links the 3DEXPERIENCE licenses to an email address rather than directly to the system itself. Because this is a cloud service, the server is already provided, which means you don't have any server-side installations that have to be planned or set up. There's no hardware to buy, no server software to install, and IT has a minimal role in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. The server is then also always up to date. This is again automatically done through 3DEXPERIENCE, and you gain all the benefits of a cloud system such as the remote access. In fact, if you regularly work with SOLIDWORKS users that are external to your company, cross-company license sharing is allowed, making it ideal for connecting data between companies or utilizing contractors. Cloud services also takes care of the data translation if you are going to work with other 3DEXPERIENCE connected software, such as simulation tools or online CAD tools. This means you can update your designs in SOLIDWORKS and watch that update flow to the other software and vice versa, creating a truly connected ecosystem. This is all powered by a technology called Innovia. And if you have 3DEXPERIENCE SOLIDWORKS or have tried SOLIDWORKS for Makers, these data management tools come pre-installed. What we're looking at here is really just the beginning with licensing available to extend that functionality to higher lifecycle tasks such as advanced bill of materials, project planning, tracking, dashboarding, and so much more. The SOLIDWORKS Cloud Services includes a private tenant on 3DEXPERIENCE for your company. Now, by private, we mean the space is not searchable via the World Wide Web. It's not searchable by other users or other tenants on 3DEXPERIENCE. And actually, security around the tenant has progressed so much that 3DEXPERIENCE recently became ITAR compliant. The cloud services tools offer the three main base rules This is including 3D Swimmer for login access, the Industry Innovator role, which contains all your data management capabilities, and a Collaborative Designer for SOLIDWORKS, which allows you to download and install an add-in to directly upload your SOLIDWORKS files to 3DEXPERIENCE. Now, we do also have storage that comes with our cloud services. This storage automatically manages SOLIDWORKS file references. And this is automatically done in the background. There's no file utilities, there's no right-clicking. It automatically manages this so that we don't lose data and we don't end up with duplicate. We can store any file type through cloud services in 3DEXPERIENCE. Now, if you're interested about what kind of space do I get, it's 25 gigabytes per license inside of your tenant. So if you have 2 people, you would have 50 gigabytes of space. We can also upload files directly from SOLIDWORKS, and this does take advantage of that local caching system through the add-in. Not only do we have storage and the ability to manage file references, 3DEXPERIENCE is also designated for team collaboration. The tools included with cloud services offers apps specifically for team collaboration, including feeds, communities, notifications, meetings, dashboards, and additional collaboration tools. The share and markup allows users to share files outside of your production space without providing access to any internal servers or proprietary data. And then, of course, the data management capabilities, in addition to what we've already mentioned, include revision control of all documents, plus we have lifecycle management. Additional tools such as establishing issues, tasks, and even routes can help formalize approval processes and raise awareness to specific issues in your design. So let's go back to our question of why would we want to go with 3DEXPERIENCE as opposed to maybe a common cloud storage tool that maybe our company already has access to. So the answer goes back to this being a full data management system. This is integrated with SOLIDWORKS CAD. It manages SOLIDWORKS file references. It takes advantage of local caching system for performance. Team collaboration is built into the 3DEXPERIENCE platform so teams can work on the same design concurrently. Revision and lifecycle control for all documents. And yes, this is done through a relational database via Innovia or InnoviaWorks. So all of these bullet points here fit our definition of what a data management system is. The other important aspect to know here is that these other cloud tools, while great as a simple storage solution, cannot do all of these items in the bullet points. They are simply not designed or intended to have to manage files that are as complex as SOLIDWORKS or other types of CAD files. So definitely some major advantages of being able to utilize SOLIDWORKS cloud services. So now that we know why we need a data management system, we know what tool we have available, let's talk about the challenges that companies can run into when they try to implement a software like a data management solution. We're going to talk a little bit about challenges that the company may have, a little bit about the administrator, and some issues the end users may experience as well. Data management software is incredibly powerful, but it does require some dedication to get the best return on investment. Arguably, one of the most important steps is the initial setup and implementation. Without prior experience, we find companies often do not know the best practices to set up their data management system or how to set it up to get the most out of their software. Also, moving data to a new environment can present multiple challenges. You want to think of this much like moving to a new house or a new apartment. You're super excited to get moved in, but you have to pack everything up, you have to get rid of all your junk, and then you have to move it to the new place and then unpack it and reorganize it. And while it's exciting, it's also a chore and very work intensive. Once the SOLIDWORKS software is configured, it's important that employees are onboarded with proper training on how to use the system. Likewise, it's also important that the data management software be set up to be adaptable. We want the software to allow for changes in processes in growing companies. With all of these tasks and challenges to consider, a healthy environment needs an individual to look after it, and that's where the administrator comes in. We're going to talk more about the administrator and that person's responsibilities in a moment, but as the person maintaining the system, we can understand that if an administrator leaves suddenly from an organization, it can understandably cause some disruption. Now, for a traditional on-premise data management solution, the IT normally has a very prominent role. For starters, the administrators in IT are typically tasked with installing software for all users. They maintain the server with items like database maintenance, system backups, as well as overseeing the network infrastructure to ensure client PCs remain connected to the server. The administrators might also be responsible for managing logins, managing how the data communicates with other external systems like ERP. In addition, the IT administrators also plan and execute yearly upgrades that bring clients and servers up to speed on the latest software. Now, when we're talking about 3DEXPERIENCE, this is a cloud-based data management system. For something like the Innovia product through SOLIDWORKS Cloud Services, the IT personnel play lesser of a role. For example, the server components are already installed when the 3DEXPERIENCE tenant is provided to you, the customer. Because the server components are installed on a proprietary server, the system backups recovery options are already taken care of. Being a cloud-based system, no additional network changes would be required other than possibly whitelisting the 3DEXPERIENCE and SOLIDWORKS websites. Additional actions such as upgrading server components is also automated through 3DEXPERIENCE and require no IT interaction at all. Any remaining tasks are now specific to updating individual client computers. However, even the client computers are prompted to update whenever there is a platform upgrade that occurs. Managing a data management system on the IT side is really only part of the battle. A great administrator would also have proficient knowledge of the engineering design process. While 3DEXPERIENCE data management environment is considered an out-of-the-box, almost pre-configured solution, there are still aspects of the software that can be customized and configured to meet each company's needs. These tasks include the attribute mapping of SOLIDWORKS custom properties, customization and permission settings for the lifecycle maturity graphs, inviting users to the platform, and assigning users with appropriate permissions to ensure the right data is in the right hands at the right time. So, what exactly is the 3DEXPERIENCE Administrator then? To put it simply, the 3DEXPERIENCE Administrator is responsible for maintaining the users, permissions, and configuration settings of the 3DEXPERIENCE environment. This ensures that the software delivers efficient and secure management of design files and related documentation. Because little IT knowledge is required to be a 3DEXPERIENCE administrator, it is very common for the admin to be one of the engineers or an engineering manager who is familiar with company processes. Knowing what the admin is responsible for, you can probably imagine that managing the 3DEXPERIENCE environment does still present some challenges. Oftentimes, just finding an individual who is willing to take on the challenge, has skills in both engineering and documentation, is also the first hurdle. But there are other common challenges we find while working with our customers adopting these types of solutions. Again, 3DEXPERIENCE data management is a pre-configured system. It's kind of set up and ready to go from the very beginning. There are still some items that need to be configured, and they can be complex to set up and maintain. It's critical that the system is configured in a way that it is efficient to use, complies with your industry standards, and is adaptable to change. Ensuring that the system is configured correctly to meet the specific needs of a company can be a difficult task. At some companies, especially those with a smaller workforce, they may not be able to justify the cost of employing a full-time administrator, which is often needed for full traditional on-premise solutions. The administrator role often falls to an engineering manager, a SOLIDWORKS power user, or someone else, maybe in IT, who really has other necessary functions other than just maintaining the system. Even though much of the administration portion is automated via 3DEXPERIENCE, tasks like configuration changes or end user technical support tend to get fulfilled on an as needed basis or when the administrator gets around to it. It's also likely that a part-time administrator is just doing their best to maintain the status quo of the system rather than exploring additional functionality that may improve your company processes. The last challenge to highlight is the Innovia software updates, which we had mentioned a couple of times already. 3DEXPERIENCE automates the server-side software automatically. However, updating 3DEXPERIENCE and SOLIDWORKS client software to the latest version does require still some careful planning to minimize production downtime. With updates occurring only once or twice a year, it can become difficult for administrators to become well-versed in the update process. Instead, you can choose to work with MLC CAD Systems and have our team perform your client-side updates or configure new features to not miss out on new functionality. A data management system enforces the rules of the road and is like a policeman for data. This can take some time to get used to, and the benefits are only realized if you and 100% of your team is in the system. Having one user who saves files to their desktop or never saves their changes up to the platform can be a weak link that breaks the chain and actually causes more issues and disconnect. End users need to not only play by the rules, but understand the item's specifics of custom properties, attributes, and lifecycle states. Their job really should be enhanced by a system which speeds up daily work. This takes proper setup of the user's profile, setting up appropriate permissions, training, and most importantly, knowing where to go for answers when you have questions or just need some help. So we talked about the challenges that companies, administrators, and end users can experience when adopting these types of solutions. Let's talk about solutions MLC CAD Systems has available to you to help you meet and overcome these challenges. We're going to talk about administration services we offer as well as process audits. I'd like to introduce to you MLC's administration service. We can offload the complexities of 3DEXPERIENCE administration to our team of certified 3DEXPERIENCE experts. Our experts have real-world experience administering both PDM and Innovia Works systems. Along the way, we've developed really our own best practices and guides that we can leverage and share with you while configuring the solution specifically for your company. As companies grow, employees shift, and infrastructure and IT demands change, MLC can be a single point of contact and history for all of your CAD needs. So please allow us with the opportunity to align with your team, save you the time and headache of the dynamic and cross-discipline role that is the PDM or 3DEXPERIENCE administrator. So what's all included in this service and what are the prerequisites? Well, this is the administration of an existing PDM or 3DEXPERIENCE system. So if you don't already have one or don't have it set up, you'll want to get one implemented and be trained up on how to use it. From there, we can incorporate the administration into your service plan as well. Essentially, the administration service covers anything that requires accessing the 3DEXPERIENCE administration tool. This means client installations, assigning new users and groups, managing permissions, attribute mapping and variables, setting up Innovia bookmarks, dashboard setup and sharing, lifecycle settings, revision setup, engineering item number setup, and just role and license management. Of course, we can offer our expert advice and provide guidance along the way. At MLC CAD Systems, our motto is unbeatable service. So I would like to offer a couple of thoughts on why our PDM administration service and 3DEXPERIENCE administration service is truly unbeatable. We have been in business for over 40 years, and over that time, we've had the pleasure of working alongside our customers as partners with the goal of understanding their businesses, their challenge, their desired outcomes, and have been able to offer advice and solutions. Likewise, our customers help us learn with exposure to every industry issue, every industry process, business model, or crazy part numbering scheme. We get to see all the unique ways that data management is being applied. So we want the opportunity to learn about your company and data management needs so we can both grow our businesses together. At MLC CAD Systems, we also offer process audits in addition to administration services. If you have an unregulated process or in an existing 3D experience system, or would like to take a thorough accounting of your current situation, I highly recommend starting off with a process audit. There's no better opportunity to document in a report the current procedures and software utilization and prepare a path forward. Along with any known bottlenecks, this will turn up opportunities for greater efficiency, better resource utilization, and allows you to scope and size potential solutions. From here, choosing which obstacles to tackle first will come down to a matter of priority. A process audit builds you a roadmap to success and puts you in the driver's seat. We also offer implementation services. By definition, an implementation puts a system in place and gets it up and running. This can be as simple as giving you the tools to do it yourself or showing you how to use them in a fully custom configuration, which could include routes and defined processes to track and change engineering data. We can help you install necessary client software, configure the system, train the team, and begin the adoption process. Whether you take a common use strategy, require a fully tailored solution, or are looking for something turnkey, your ability to adopt the solution with a clear path forward is the end goal. So we covered why we would want to adopt a data management system for our SOLIDWORKS and CAD files. We focused on the 3DEXPERIENCE and InnoviaWorks data management solution today. We discussed some challenges that are common that companies experience when adopting a type of solution, and then we discussed the solutions MLC CAD Systems has on what we can do to help you get the most out of your software. At this point, I'm going to open up the floor for any questions. Again, please feel free to ask any questions now or check us out on our website at mlc-cad.com. Thank you very much for your time and attention.